Have you ever wondered why, no matter what you do, some connections slip through your fingers? Why some people seem to effortlessly draw attention, loyalty, even love, while you're left chasing shadows? It's not about charm. It's not about looks. It's not about being good enough. There's a force at work beneath the surface, invisible, ancient, and it moves silently, shaping choices in ways most never notice. You've felt it. You've been caught in its pull, though you didn't know its name. It whispers in moments when words fail, in glances that linger, in the tension that fills the space between two people. It is older than desire, older than love, older than anything you were ever taught to chase. This force doesn't ask for permission. It doesn't wait for consent. It moves through instinct, pure and unfiltered, bypassing thought, bypassing reason. It thrives on something primal inside every human heart, and it is this force that governs attraction more decisively than affection ever could. You might think love is the master, but love is often blind, messy, fumbling. This instinct, this raw, uncompromising drive, knows the paths that love could never navigate. It is precise, relentless, and unforgiving. Imagine understanding that pull. Imagine seeing it in action before it traps you, before it shifts reality without your awareness. Picture the clarity of recognizing the invisible strings tugging at hearts, not just hers, but yours too. There's a weight in this knowledge, a kind of dangerous power, because it unmasks illusions. It reveals the truth that attraction, desire, and connection are rarely about intention. They are about instinct. And once you feel it, really feel it, nothing can look the same again. You've experienced it already, in the small things you've tried to ignore. The sudden spark that seems out of nowhere, the decisions that don't make sense until you trace them backward, every glance that lingers a second too long, every hesitation before a choice, every pull toward someone you can't explain. All of it is evidence. This force is not subtle in effect, only in presence. It moves silently, but its impact is thunderous. It dictates moments that feel fleeting, yet shape entire lifetimes. It is the quiet architect of what you call connection. And yet, most people are blind to it. They stumble blindly through relationships, interpreting reactions as love, attraction, or chemistry, when what they are witnessing is something far more foundational. This is why efforts often fail, why words fall flat, why gestures that should matter seem invisible. You may try to control outcomes, to reason with feelings, to negotiate attention, but the instinct doesn't respond to negotiation. It is sovereign, and it favors neither effort nor intention. It favors awareness, it favors alignment with its rhythm, and only those who see it can navigate it without being swept aside. There is a strange comfort in this knowledge, a release from frustration. When you understand the rules that have always been unspoken, when you feel the currents that have guided countless choices before you, you gain perspective. You see patterns where once there was chaos. You see what drives hearts. And in seeing it, you begin to reclaim a sense of control, not in forcing others, but in understanding the invisible forces that govern desire. This is a freedom most never encounter, a clarity that separates the observant from the lost, the empowered from the manipulated. And it matters, because life does not wait. Connections slip by in moments you didn't notice. Opportunities fade in seconds you were distracted. And the instinct waits for no one. But the more you sense it, the more you understand it, the less you are left behind. It is the difference between being acted upon and moving with intention, between watching life happen and stepping fully into the flow of what drives people, what moves hearts, what decides outcomes before words are ever spoken. There is a reward here, hidden in plain sight, for those willing to feel, willing to pay attention, willing to acknowledge the force that always whispers beneath the surface. If you have felt the frustration, the confusion, the sense that you are missing some hidden code, it is not imagination. It is evidence. It is proof that there is a rhythm beneath the chaos, a pattern behind what seems random, a force more compelling than the fleeting illusions of love. And now, in this moment, you stand on the edge of understanding it. To notice it is to step into awareness. To grasp it is to step into influence, clarity, and power you never realized was possible. The choice is yours to stay blind or to finally see the invisible. Every glance, every hesitation, every unspoken word carries weight you may not realize. The instinct we've been speaking of does not wait for permission. It does not pause for reasoning. It thrives in the spaces between intention and action, in the split seconds where decisions are made before thought catches up. You have the power to see it, to sense it, to move with it rather than against it, but only if you allow yourself to recognize its patterns. Too often, people mistake what they feel for what they think. They confuse effort with influence, words with impact, attention with attraction. The instinct ignores all of that. It is raw, it is primal, and it decides outcomes with quiet precision. You may have noticed it in her eyes, in the moments where logic fails, where emotion surges without reason. That pull is the instinct asserting itself. It moves faster than words can follow. It shapes behavior, guides attention, and dictates who is noticed and who is overlooked. And here's the truth that most will never see. The instinct is not cruel. It is indifferent. It doesn't reward the worthy or punish the unworthy. It simply responds to alignment, to presence, to awareness, to those who understand its rhythm. Those who do not flounder, they stumble, they chase what cannot be caught, because they are blind to the currents that carry the world forward. Imagine how differently life could unfold if you were never blind again. If you could feel the currents that guide choices, understand the subtle signals that shape attraction, anticipate the unseen forces before they shift reality. Imagine the clarity that comes when frustration dissolves into understanding, when confusion gives way to insight. You would no longer be at the mercy of random chance or fleeting emotions. You would move with knowledge. You would navigate desire like a force, not a mystery. The difference is staggering, and it is available to anyone who stops ignoring the signs. Most people settle for the illusion that love alone controls hearts. They interpret reactions through hope and fear, guess at intentions, and wait for responses that may never come. But the instinct is always present, always active, always shaping what happens next. It is not swayed by pleading or persuasion. It does not bend to manipulation. It operates on a level below thought, beneath the surface of strategy, beyond the reach of effort alone. The question is not whether it exists. The question is whether you are awake enough to see it, to acknowledge it, and to move with it. Every moment you remain unaware, opportunities slip past like water through your fingers. Every moment you ignore it, you risk being left behind, while others ride the current with effortless advantage. The stakes are higher than you realize. Relationships, attraction, influence, they are all guided by this hidden force. Every choice, every interaction, every moment of hesitation carries consequences that ripple far beyond what is visible. To understand it is to gain insight into the unseen architecture of connection. To act without understanding it is to stumble blindly in a world that rewards perception. And perception is power. Awareness is freedom. Alignment is influence. Imagine stepping into a reality where you recognize the force at play, where your actions are informed, where your presence resonates on the level that matters most. You would no longer chase. You would no longer hope. You would move with certainty, with rhythm, with impact that is undeniable. You cannot afford ignorance, not here, not now. Every second spent unaware is a second lost, a connection missed, a chance wasted. The instinct waits for no one, yet it responds to those who perceive it. It rewards clarity, presence, and understanding. It punishes distraction, hesitation, and blindness. This is the hidden truth that explains so much of what you felt, so much of what has frustrated you, so much of what has slipped through your hands. It is neither fair nor unfair, it simply is. And now you have the choice. You can remain a participant in the illusions of effort and hope, or you can awaken to the currents beneath, harness their rhythm, and step into a world where influence, attraction, and connection are no longer mysteries but tools. Every glance, every word, every heartbeat becomes meaningful when you recognize the force behind it. You are not powerless. You are not blind. You are awake, aware, and capable of moving with an instinct older than love itself, a force that controls more than desire, a rhythm that shapes reality before thought ever intervenes. The question is simple. Will you see it and step into it, or will you remain bound to what most will never understand? Every choice you make echoes farther than you realize. Every glance, every hesitation, every word carries weight, because the instinct we've uncovered does not forgive ignorance. It notices everything, responds to subtlety, and shifts reality before consciousness even catches up. You cannot manipulate it with force or coax it with charm. It is not swayed by effort alone. It responds to presence, clarity, and alignment. To be aware is to wield influence. To be blind is to stumble through life as if in fog, constantly frustrated, constantly chasing what slips just out of reach. The difference between those who move with the current and those who are swept aside is this understanding, and it is available to you if you dare to grasp it. You have already sensed it in moments of attraction, in flashes of recognition, in the tension that fills a room without words. That pull is the instinct at work, ancient and precise, shaping decisions that feel like fate. It is relentless, unstoppable, and indifferent to wishes or reasoning. It does not negotiate. It does not apologize. It simply exists, and it responds to those who perceive it. Once you begin to notice it, you see patterns where before there was chaos. You see meaning behind actions that once seemed random. You feel the rhythm that guides desire and influence alike. And once you step into that rhythm, hesitation evaporates. Fear loses its grip. Clarity becomes your weapon. Consider the frustration of countless interactions lost to misreading signals, the exhaustion of effort wasted on what cannot be grasped. That is life without awareness. But awareness changes everything. It allows you to anticipate. It allows you to respond, not react. It allows you to move through attraction, desire, and connection like a force, rather than drift along as a passive observer. The instinct that shapes hearts, governs attention, and directs choices is no longer mysterious. It is a map, a guide, a key to unlocking what was once inaccessible. And with it comes power. The power to be noticed, to be understood, to be felt, and to influence without strain. The stakes are undeniable. Ignorance here comes at a cost. Every missed opportunity, every misread intention, every moment of hesitation compounds, creating a lifetime of what-ifs and if-onlys. The instinct waits for no one, yet it responds immediately to those who are awake. Every second you ignore it is a second lost, every connection overlooked, every subtle signal misinterpreted. But every moment you recognize it, every time you align yourself with its currents, you gain advantage. You step into the flow instead of resisting it. You become visible to what others cannot see. You gain clarity, insight, and the ability to shape outcomes before circumstances dictate them. Do not mistake this as manipulation. It is not about forcing desire. It is about alignment. It is about presence. It is about understanding. The unseen forces, that govern human attention and attraction. The more you perceive, the more you act with intention rather than chance, the more you claim your place in a world that rewards perception and punishes distraction. Awareness here is not optional. It is survival. It is the difference between being led and leading, between chasing and commanding, between waiting and arriving. The instinct rewards those who see it, those who feel it, those who move in harmony with it. It ignores those who do not. Every heartbeat, every glance, every subtle shift is evidence. The instinct is alive, always watching, always responding. You are now awake enough to notice. You are now capable of aligning with it. You can choose to act or remain passive. To act is to step into influence, to see clearly, to navigate desire and connection with precision. To remain passive is to drift, to miss, to wonder why life seems always just out of reach. This is the force older than love, deeper than intention, and more decisive than effort. It controls more than attraction. It guides outcomes, shapes realities, and defines moments before they are fully formed. The choice is yours. Step into awareness, harness the rhythm, and move with the instinct that has shaped countless lives, or remain blind while the currents carry everything past you. You are capable. You are awake. You are ready. Everything you have believed about attraction, about influence, about connection, is only part of the story. There is a deeper current, an undercurrent older than thought, older than intention, that moves through every encounter, every choice, every fleeting moment of attention. It is unseen, yet impossible to ignore once you know it exists. It does not bend to hope. It does not yield to effort. It operates with precision, dictating outcomes before words are spoken, before gestures are noticed. The people who succeed, who are remembered, who hold influence without trying, they have learned to sense it. They move with it. They align with it. And in doing so, they are no longer subject to the chaos that traps most others. Imagine living without the confusion, without the frustration of misread signals and wasted effort. Imagine understanding what truly drives the human heart, what makes someone pause, what draws attention, what ignites desire. That understanding is not theoretical, it is visceral. It is the pulse beneath every interaction, the quiet force that decides who is noticed and who is overlooked. Once you feel it, once you recognize its presence, hesitation loses its grip. Clarity takes its place. You see the hidden patterns, the subtle movements, the instinct that shapes choices before consciousness even registers them. And with that clarity comes power. The power to act with precision. The power to move intentionally. The power to be noticed, understood, and felt in ways others cannot comprehend. Do not underestimate the stakes. Every moment spent unaware is a moment lost, a connection missed, an opportunity gone. The instinct waits for no one. It rewards those who are present, those who are awake, those who feel it and respond in harmony. It ignores the distracted, the hesitant, the blind. Life does not forgive ignorance in this domain. Choices slip by, hearts shift, attention moves elsewhere, and once missed, there is no rewind. To be blind here is to drift through life, constantly chasing, constantly frustrated, always wondering why effort seems wasted, why outcomes feel unfair. Awareness is not optional. It is the difference between being acted upon and acting with agency, between frustration and mastery, between chance and control. You can feel it now, can't you? The subtle pull beneath what you once thought was random, the quiet rhythm that shapes attention, the invisible strings that guide desire. That feeling is evidence. It is proof that the force exists, that it is active, and that it can be recognized, understood, and aligned with. Every glance, every gesture, every heartbeat carries signals you can read if you pay attention. The moment you do, life changes. The moment you do, you step out of passive participation and into influence. You are no longer at the mercy of circumstance. You are no longer subject to the blind flow of instinct around you. You have become conscious of it. You have become awake to it. This is more than understanding. This is transformation. Once you grasp the rhythm of this force, you see through illusions that have trapped countless others. You recognize the signals that shape attraction, attention, and connection. You anticipate shifts before they happen. You act before others react. You step into a flow that turns hesitation into confidence, randomness into strategy, chaos into clarity. It is a power that does not rely on coercion or persuasion. It is not manipulation. It is alignment. It is presence. It is understanding the unseen architecture of influence and stepping into it fully. Every heartbeat now matters. Every glance, every word, every movement carries significance because you can see the hidden currents that guide them. You are no longer powerless. You are awake. You are aware. And awareness here is not a choice, it is a responsibility. To ignore it is to remain trapped in frustration, confusion, and missed opportunity. To embrace it is to step into mastery, to navigate desire with precision, to shape outcomes with clarity, and to experience connection in ways that once seemed impossible. The force is alive. It is active. It is waiting for those willing to see it, to feel it, and to move with it. You are ready. You are capable. You are awake. And nothing will ever feel the same again. Everything you've learned about love, about attraction, about connection, has been only a surface layer. Beneath it lies a force far older, far more primal, and far more decisive than anything you've been taught to chase. It is instinct, pure and unfiltered, moving through every glance, every word, every hesitation. It does not negotiate. It does not yield to hope or effort. It moves with a rhythm all its own, unseen yet undeniable, shaping reality before thought ever has a chance to intervene. To ignore it is to drift helplessly, constantly frustrated, constantly wondering why outcomes seem so unfair. To understand it is to step into a flow that few ever reach, a current that rewards clarity, presence, and awareness. You have already felt it, in the subtle glances, in moments that defy explanation, in decisions that surprise even yourself. That pull is not random. It is deliberate. It moves through desire, attention, and attraction with precision. It shapes the choices of hearts without apology or reason. Most people are blind to it. They interpret signals as love, as chemistry, as luck. They chase what cannot be caught because they fail to see the currents beneath. But once you notice it, once you feel its pulse, hesitation loses its grip. Fear fades. Confusion dissolves into insight. You begin to see patterns that were invisible before. You begin to act with clarity, presence, and impact. This is not theory, it is reality. Every interaction you've ever experienced carries evidence of this force. Every spark, every hesitation, every unspoken tension is proof. It decides who is noticed and who is overlooked. It governs moments that feel fleeting but ripple through life with consequences far beyond comprehension. And the truth is brutal. Ignorance is costly. Every second spent unaware is a second lost. Every connection missed, every subtle signal ignored is an opportunity slipping past, never to return. The instinct waits for no one. It responds to presence, to awareness, to alignment. It ignores hesitation, distraction, and blindness. Imagine stepping into life with eyes wide open to it. Imagine the clarity of recognizing the currents that guide desire, understanding the hidden architecture behind attraction, and moving through relationships with awareness and intention. The difference is staggering.